Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to dual boot the latest version of Kali Linux, which is version 2023.4 and Windows 10 or 11. So by the end of this video, you should be able to boot to either Windows 10, Windows 11 or Kali Linux on the same PC. Now the first thing we have to do is head to our browser and then head to kali.org. Now click on the download button on your screen and it should take you down here. Now click on installer images and then you can see right here, this is a 64-bit installer which we are going to click on, and it should start downloading. The file size is about 4 GB, so you know what to expect. I already have this file downloaded, so I'm just going to cancel it, but make sure you download. After downloading Kali Linux ISO file, we also have to download Win32 disk imager, which we are going to use to create a bootable disk. So let's search for Win32 disk imager and then click on the link that heads to SourceForge and then click on the download button right here, and it should start downloading. Successfully downloaded. Now we can close our browser and then open our download folder. Okay, so this is Win32 disk imager and this is Kali Linux ISO file. Now we need a flash drive at least 8 GB. In my case, I have a 16 gig flash drive which I'm going to connect to my PC right now. Okay, so this is our 16 gig flash drive which we're going to use as a bootable drive for the installation. Now let's head back to our download folder and then install Win32 disk imager. Agree to the terms, next, and then install. Now let's launch. Now for the image file, click on the browse icon right here and then locate your download folder. Now you can see by the side right here, disk images. Now click on it and then show all by selecting the second option. Now we can select our Kali Linux ISO file, open, and the device right here is our flash drive. So if you have more than one flash drive connected to your PC, you can select the one you want to use to create a bootable drive. Now we click on write and then yes, and it should write the ISO file into our flash drive as a bootable drive. Then we can begin the installation. Now one more thing though, we have to confirm where we want to install Kali Linux. So let's head to our search bar and then search for Partition. Now click on create and format hard disk partitions, and here you should see the list of all your drives. Let's drag this down a little. Okay, so disk 0 right here is our SSD, 300 MB is our EFI partition, 123 GB running Manjaro Linux. This is the second EFI partition for Windows, and this is running Windows 10, and this is the healthy recovery partition. Then disk 1 right here is the current drive we are using to run Windows 11 with a partition for Windows EFI, and this is the main drive we are currently running on. Now we can partition any drive to install Kali Linux, and in my case I'm going to partition my C drive since I have over 100 GB of free storage. If we head to our file manager, you can also see as well 126 gig free storage in my C drive. So I'm going to right click on my C drive with the highest available storage and then click on shrink volume. Here you can set the space you want to allocate to Kali Linux. In my case, I'm going to give it about 50 GB, which should be okay. And then we click on shrink. Okay, so you can see 52 GB unallocated storage, which we are going to use to install Kali Linux. Now we can close disk management and then wait for Win32 disk imager to finish writing data to our flash drive. Now we can click on OK and then exit. We restart our device and then start the installation. Hold F9 or F12 to show your boot options. This may be different depending on the PC you're using. Now scroll down and then select your USB drive, hit enter. Set a language for the installation and then click on continue. Set your location, continue. Set your keyboard format, continue. Now enter a host name, it could be whatever you choose, and then continue. Domain name, continue. Enter a full name for this user. Enter a username for this computer, and then enter a password which we are going to use to access our machine. Continue. Now select your time zone and then continue. Under disk partition, we are going to select manual. Continue. So just look around and you would see about the space we shrinked earlier. In my case, it is 50 gig on my hard drive, which we can find here. So that is where we want to install Kali Linux. So select that partition and then continue. Now select automatically partition the free space. So it should create the necessary partitions automatically. Continue. All files in one partition. Continue. Now these are the changes that will be made. This is our EFI partition. This is a swap partition that will be created, and this is our home partition. Now click on finish partitioning and write changes to disk and then continue. Yes to write changes to disk. Continue. Now we have to select our desktop environment. By default it is set to Xface, but we can change to either GNOME or KDE Plasma. So just select whichever you prefer and then continue. And we are finally done with the installation. All we have to do is click on continue to restart, and then we can boot into Kali Linux and then log into our machine. And here we can find Kali Linux, Manjaro, and our Windows boot manager. So we can select whichever operating system we want to boot into, and it should boot right in. So let's select Kali Linux. And here we go. Now you can log in with your username and password. So basically this is how to install the latest version of Kali Linux dual boot alongside Windows 10 or Windows 11 or any other operating system you're using. If this video was helpful, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on your post notification. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.